dive a little deeper into the state of our nation's finances for a segment we like to call In This Economy. Well, this week, President Trump signed America's first major cryptocurrency bill into law, pledging to make the United States the crypto capital of the world.
Did you know Donald Trump quietly set in motion a change that could redefine the global monetary of crypto? Well, in an absolutely bold move, the world is largely overshadowed by the heated political climate and cannot be overstated. Let's find move about it. The newly introduced Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for US Stablecoins Act, conveniently shortened to a more digestible acronym, may sound like just another piece of bureaucratic legislation, but its implications run deep. Framed as a measure to bring legitimacy to the cryptocurrency industry, the bill also intersects with the president's own financial interests. Yet beyond the immediate political optics, this legislation has the potential to alter the foundations of the U.S. economy and its role in the worldwide financial landscape. Much of the discussion leading up to the bill's passage has centered on Trump's shifting stance on cryptocurrencies. Just 5 years ago, during his first term, he dismissed Bitcoin and other digital currencies as nothing more than a scam. However, as the 2024 election approached, his tone softened considerably, signaling a more lenient regulatory approach. This pivot was further cemented by the appointment of new regulators perceived as more favorable toward the crypto industry, replacing those who had pursued high-profile cases like that of Sam Bankman-Fried, the disgraced FTX founder, now serving a 25-year prison sentence following one of the largest financial collapses in recent memory. The new stablecoin bill represents more than just a policy adjustment. It could serve as a catalyst for broader adoption of digital currencies while reinforcing the US dollar's dominance in an increasingly digital financial world. Stablecoins, which are cryptocurrencies pegged to stable assets like the dollar, offer the speed and efficiency of blockchain technology without the volatility typically associated with Bitcoin. By providing a clear regulatory framework, the U.S. could position itself as a leader in this emerging sector, attracting investment and innovation while mitigating risks associated with unchecked speculation. Yet the move is not without its critics. Some argue that the legislation could further entrench the power of large financial players while doing little to protect everyday investors. Others question whether the timing and structure of the bill are influenced by political and personal interests rather than purely economic considerations. What remains undeniable, however, is that this development marks a pivotal moment in the evolution of money. As the world shifts toward digital payments and decentralized finance, the rules being written now will shape the financial systems of tomorrow. Whether this bill proves to be a masterstroke or a misstep, one thing is certain: its impact will be felt far beyond the headlines of the day. The cryptocurrency industry poured massive financial support into Donald Trump's campaign following his pledge to adopt a more favorable stance toward digital assets, a promise that has since translated into tangible policy shifts. After the election, the president and his wife capitalized on the momentum by launching their own meme coins, reportedly raising an astonishing $2.7 billion. This move was accompanied by the establishment of World Liberty Financial, a cryptocurrency venture operated by his sons and close business associates. While these developments have raised ethical concerns regarding potential conflicts of interest, the broader implications of the administration's stablecoin legislation could fundamentally alter the mechanics of global finance. Stablecoins, despite their name, have not always been synonymous with stability. The 2022 cryptocurrency crash exposed their vulnerabilities when Terra USD, a supposedly dollar-pegged stablecoin with insufficient asset backing, suddenly lost its peg, triggering the collapse of Terra and Luna and wiping out tens of billions in investor wealth. Yet, despite such setbacks, stablecoins have endured because they serve a critical function in the digital economy, enabling instant low-cost cross-border transactions without the exorbitant fees imposed by traditional financial institutions. Unlike volatile cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, stablecoins are designed to maintain a fixed value by being pegged to fiat currencies, primarily the US dollar. For this stability to hold, however, They must be fully backed by liquid reserves, typically US Treasury bonds and other government debt instruments. Initially, their use was largely confined to economies with unstable local currencies, such as Turkey, but their adoption has since exploded on a global scale. Over the past year alone, stablecoin transaction volumes have surged past $33 trillion, dwarfing even the processing power of giants like PayPal and Visa. This explosive growth signals a seismic shift in how money moves around the world. Perhaps most strikingly, the rise of stablecoins is now influencing the US Treasury market. As demand for dollar-backed stablecoins grows, so too does the need for the underlying reserves that support them, primarily US government debt. This dynamic could reshape global capital flows, reinforcing the dollar's dominance while simultaneously creating new financial interdependencies. Yet with such rapid expansion comes regulatory challenges. Lawmakers must strike a delicate balance between fostering innovation and preventing the kind of reckless speculation that led to past collapses. The Trump administration's push to formalize stablecoin regulation marks a pivotal moment in this evolution. While the president's personal ventures in the crypto space have drawn scrutiny, the long-term impact of this legislation may extend far beyond political controversies. If properly structured, it could cement the US as a leader in the next era of digital finance. If mishandled, however, it risks repeating the mistakes of the past, where inadequate oversight led to catastrophic losses for ordinary investors. One thing is certain: the financial landscape is changing, and stablecoins are at the heart of that transformation. In a surprising twist for global finance, stablecoins, particularly industry giant Tether, have quietly become major players in the US Treasury market. Last year, Tether alone ranked as the 7th largest buyer of US government debt, while stablecoins collectively now hold an astonishing $128 billion in Treasury holdings. To put that into perspective, this surpasses the Treasury reserves of economic powerhouses like Germany, Saudi Arabia, and South Korea. This dramatic shift comes at a critical moment for the US dollar, which has seen its dominance as the world's reserve currency increasingly questioned due to soaring national debt and political instability. The erosion of confidence in the dollar is evident as traditional buyers, including foreign governments, pull back from US debt. China, once the largest holder of US treasuries, has been steadily reducing its exposure, instead stockpiling gold as a safer alternative. This retreat has sent alarm bells ringing in Washington, where officials fear that dwindling demand for US bonds could force interest rates higher, a dangerous scenario for a nation already grappling with a $37 trillion debt burden and annual interest payments exceeding $1 trillion. Enter stablecoins, which may offer an unexpected solution to this growing crisis. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is betting that these digital assets, which require dollar reserves to maintain their pegs, could help fill the void left by foreign central banks. The logic is simple. As stablecoin adoption grows, so too will their need for the US treasuries as backing, thereby sustaining demand for American debt. Major financial institutions like Citigroup and Standard Chartered predict explosive growth in stablecoin usage, further bolstering this theory. Even US retailers and banks are exploring stablecoins as a way to bypass costly credit card fees, signaling broader mainstream acceptance. However, this potential lifeline is not without complications. While stablecoins could temporarily ease borrowing costs, economists warn that if demand merely shifts from foreign to domestic buyers, rather than expanding overall, the relief may prove fleeting. There's also the risk that a global embrace of dollar-pegged stablecoins could inadvertently strengthen the US dollar, making American exports more expensive and undermining former President Trump's protectionist trade policies. The stakes could not be higher. As the world gradually moves away from traditional dollar dependency, stablecoins may emerge as an unlikely pillar propping up US financial stability or, if mismanaged, yet another vulnerability in an already fragile system. As blockchain technology continues its push toward mainstream financial applications, stablecoins have emerged as one of its most practical use cases. These digital assets, designed to maintain a steady value by pegging themselves to traditional currencies like the US dollar, promise faster and cheaper transactions than conventional banking systems. Yet despite their growing influence, particularly in propping up demand for the US Treasury securities, serious questions linger about transparency and trust, especially surrounding Tether, the largest and most controversial player in the stablecoin market. Unlike its smaller competitor Circle, which undergoes regular independent audits to verify its dollar reserves, Tether operates with far less disclosure. The company does not provide clear details about where its reserves are held or their exact composition, leaving investors and regulators uncertain about whether it holds enough stable assets to back its massive $128 billion in circulation. The stablecoin experiment may indeed deliver on its promise of faster, cheaper transactions, but without greater transparency. Don't you think its long-term viability remains uncertain? Let us know in the comments what you think of the whole situation, and if you want to stay on top of this, smash that like and subscribe button.